trauma travels through families from one generation to the next until someone is ready to face it. For most families, their survival strategy is avoidance, avoiding the pain, pretending it's not there, not talking about it, or unconsciously dumping it onto other people. But the pain never actually goes away. These pains demand to be felt and seen. And one day, a child will be born to bear the burden of feeling all of those generational traumas and have the courage to change it. They will be the black sheep of the family. They will be unusual, quirky, and even creative. They won't follow the norm, and they'll be questioned, criticized, shamed, and guilted. But if they don't crack under the pressure, they will heal. They will write a completely new story for future generations and become the lighthouse for others to break away from the chains of the past.
So now, the video that you just saw was a man talking about trauma and why it must be broken. Now, what happens is that the trauma grows through generations, right? They say the seventh generation, and people, especially I think in the Bible, it talks about 7 generations. And then people have said, oh, the sins of the father will keep going from 7 generations, so you suffer for the sins of your father. I dare say that sin that they're talking about is the trauma of your family. And so it goes from generation to generation. So let's say, for example, I had a grandfather who was mean and wicked and used to beat my father. Or let's even take it a bit deeper. I have a friend whose father used to sleep with her. When she then went to look at it, she found out that his mother too used to sleep with him. So can you see what I mean by generational trauma? So her grandmother used to sleep with her father. Her father started sleeping with her, and of course didn't see anything wrong with it. She had to break that chain and stop it. So what am I saying here? In my family as well, I personally feel like I was the one that brought the light to my family to start to bring or to even start to talk about healing. Before me, it was pain, 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 pain. All kinds of situations and all kinds of things recycling itself over and over again. There were so many deaths. There were all kinds of things happening. In my life, I was able to sit down and say, look, we've got to do something about this. At least for me. I don't know about other people. But I also know that whilst I was, going through my healing phase, I used to worry about my family members. And I used to say, I really wish that I could pull them into this healing process and get them also living a better life, because I started to see how free my life was. The video, the guy talked about how they call the child the black sheep. I was the black sheep of my family. Well, I was called that. I was the one that would rebel against certain things. Till now, I ask questions. I come out and say, why this? Okay, this is how we've been doing it. So does that make it right? Does that make who started it? Why did they start it? And why can't we change it? Because most times the things that we kill ourselves for were created by people who are long gone. They don't even know why they started it. They don't even know why they did what they did. But they passed it on, and we just kept on saying, oh, that's how we do it. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. Without anybody stopping to question it and say, why have we been doing it that way? Now, in my family, I am that one. So people come to me to say, we know that what you will say is different from what everybody else will say because you think differently. And I'm grateful for that, to be honest, because I feel like I'm the lighthouse of my family. And now that I'm here and where I am, I can now pass on light onto the others. I used to be so scared. One day I remember saying to a friend of mine, what if I created this scenario that scared me. Most of the things that we're scared of were the ones that created it is in our imagination. So I created this imagination or this picture of me shouting, hi. And then there's the distance between me and the next family member is so loud that you can hear the echo, hi, 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 hi. My friend said to me, what a creative mind you have. And I started laughing. I said, honestly, I feel like if I walk on this journey alone, it would just be me. And then I will feel alone. And so I started to be afraid of success, not just even failure. But what if I succeed so much that I'm the only one that succeeds in this space? And a friend of mine said to me, honestly, anybody that doesn't join you on this journey is not meant to be part of your journey. And that friend really was the Holy Spirit, because I used to have a lot of conversations with God at the time, because I first of all also wanted to know God for myself. And so I said to God, I want you to reveal yourself to me, regardless of what anybody has said or who anybody has said you are. I'm throwing all of that away. It will take a while, but I'm throwing all of that away to walk with you alone. Since they say salvation is personal, I want to know God for myself. And the God that I know now, my goodness, right? Because I opened myself to that journey. I opened myself to spirituality. I opened myself to personal development. I opened myself to coaches, to therapy, plenty therapy. I opened myself to life-giving messages. I opened myself to life-giving people. I started to see things in a completely different way. And I will question things. Till now, if you share certain things to me about the Bible or who God is, I'll tell you, I'm sorry, that's not the God that I serve. It can be the God that you serve. I'm not stopping the God that you serve, but the God that I serve will not behave like that. I don't believe that. The God that I serve will not speak like that. I remember hearing a pastor one day say that God spoke to him and told him that he's angry at his people after all he has done for the people. I didn't even know when I started shaking my head, and I was like, that's not the God that I serve. My God is not small. He doesn't play in those spaces where he's angry. The God that I serve has no anger in him. He doesn't even know what it means. That's the God that I serve. I don't know about other people. The God that I serve is not waiting to blame or shame or guilt trip nobody. The God that I serve is too big to worry himself about one person or even 1 million people not serving him. His love is too much for us, right? That's the God that I serve. So I had to go on that personal journey. I was called all kinds of things, still called all kinds of things. Somebody says to me that I have this over grandiose belief about myself, and I'm excited to hear that. You know why? Because really what I'm doing is working. Yes? Because they can't understand the extent of my bigness because of their smallness, right? That's just what it is. And I can understand that, and I can relate with it, and I'm excited about it, that I'm on the right track. Trauma has to be healed. Somebody has to wake up in every family and say, this thing is not going to happen to me at all. I go to the hospital, they tell me, oh, this thing is in your family. I say to them, I don't know what you're talking about, because that's not the family that I come from. The family that I come from, there's no disease. We're wellness machines. We're wellness factories. All we do is wellness. So I'm not coming from any lineage with anybody I don't know who that person is. I'm coming here as me. And in my lineage, it's only health that resides in my lineage. And I tell the doctors, every doctor I see, and they laugh about it, but it's the truth, because I am sure of what I believe in, and nothing can change that. That only happened because I healed. I looked at all the things that I was showing up as that were very disempowering. I did. I had to look at the ugly. I had to look at my ugly. You know, when they say the good, the bad, and the ugly, we all have it, right? We all have those areas. We call them shadows. People are afraid to look at their shadows. People are afraid to look at those things that, they think that once it erupts, it can take them to a dark place. But guess what? Every dark place has got light in it, and you are that light. So even if you do go to a dark place to look at it, and what you're going there as an investigator with the intention to heal. So you will never stay in that dark place. You will come out of it. You will come out of it because you are going there with a torchlight to shine light on the darkness, which is what awareness is. And that's all it is, awareness. Once you're aware of it, you can feel it, and then you can deal with it, and then you can heal it. And that's all it is. The trauma in your family will always be there if you don't wake up someday and say, this ends here with me. My next generation will not have to suffer from my past generation. My next generation will have wholesomeness. And honestly, that's what's happening in my family with my kids. And because I'm healed, I'm able to pass on more light to them. I'm able to pass on more openness to them. I'm able to pass on more confidence to them. I'm able to pass on more energy, positive energy to them. I'm able to have conversations with them that I was so close to because of who I felt or who I was then. But now I'm a different person. My essence is not tied to what anybody else thinks about me. My essence is tied to what I think about me. And I think about myself so highly that it's impossible for anybody to touch how I feel about myself. But I had to do that by first going to the dark, to bring that inner child out of the dark into the light as to where I'm at the moment. You too can do the same. Be the person who brings light and who brings healing and who brings wholesomeness and who brings awareness to your family and stops it so that your next generations can thank you for it. So now the truth also is that when you stand up for wanting to be different, there'll be opposition. There'll be people who want to drag you back. It's like crabs who want to come up from a bowl. None of them could come up because they keep dragging themselves back into the bowl and into the hole. But let me tell you what, you've got to be different. You've got to now start to meditate upon the vision so deeply of who you are becoming. It starts with knowing what you want. That's the truth. And knowing and impressing that vision on the tablet of your heart, the Bible says. And guess what? That tablet is in your heart, not in a cinema screen for other people to see. So they might not understand it, but that's okay. Forgive them in advance for not understanding it. Because when God put that vision in your heart, He put it in your heart and your heart cannot be seen. It's meant to be a private vision. There's so many things I don't share with people, not because I'm afraid that they'll do anything about it, but because I know that they're too small. Their minds are too small to comprehend the bigness of what I've brought into this world and what I have to give. So keep it secret, keep it within you, but keep it a burning desire and keep going back to seeing yourself becoming that person that will pave a way for your family to be healed. You can do it because I did it.